The cost of living in America is spiraling out of control. Rent eats paychecks, groceries are a luxury, and saving feels impossible. But what if the same salary that barely covers bills at home could buy you a life most people only dream about? Inflation, taxes, and political instability are forcing people to look outward. And hidden across the globe are places where your dollars don't just stretch, they multiply into a life of wealth and freedom. Philippines. The Philippines, a US waiter's salary transforms into power. Imagine stepping off the plane and realizing that what once paid for a shoebox apartment back home now buys you a fully furnished condo with a pool, a cleaner who handles the daily chores, and meals prepared by chefs for less than a fast food combo in the States. Manila's skyline glitters with rooftop bars, while beach towns like Cebu and Palawan offer escapes that feel reserved for billionaires. Healthcare, often a nightmare cost in America, is world-class and shockingly affordable here. And the deeper you go, the more extreme the contrast becomes. What's considered luxury for locals, private drivers, spa treatments, fine dining, becomes everyday life on wages that would keep you broke in New York or Los Angeles. Data from Nomad shows that rent prices in the Philippines are about 82.2% lower than in the United States. It's not just affordable living. It's an inversion of status, where your modest income turns into the key to a life of control, privilege, and freedom. Thailand. Thailand is where the illusion of scarcity ends. Bangkok towers buzz with endless nightlife, rooftop infinity pools, and Michelin-level cuisine. But here's the secret. All of this can be yours for less than what you'd spend on rent alone in a US city. On $2,000 a month, you're not just surviving, you're commanding a lifestyle that screams wealth. Private hospitals, cleaner than most in the West, charge a fraction of US bills. Street food costs pocket change, yet rivals the best restaurants. Even luxury condos overlooking the Chao Phraya River rent for less than a rundown studio in Los Angeles. As reported by Numbeo, a one-bedroom apartment in Bangkok's city center averages about 21,564 THB per month as of September 2025. And beyond Bangkok, places like Chiang Mai and the islands turn life into permanent vacation beaches, temples, and mountains at your doorstep. Mexico. Mexico blurs the line between budget and opulence. In cities like Mérida or Guadalajara, the average waiter's pay from America stretches into private apartments with marble floors, rooftop terraces, and neighborhood cafes that feel more like European escapes than cheap living. Groceries are fresh, medical care is modern, and dining out isn't an indulgence, it's routine. A steak dinner with wine costs less than a movie night back home. And the proximity to the US keeps travel easy, while still providing total relief from the crushing cost of life in New York or California. But there's a darker edge. Expat demand is rising fast, and rents in hotspots like Mexico City are climbing. However, AP News revealed that Mexico City moved to cap rent increases at the inflation rate amid protests that rising housing costs are being driven by mass tourism and an influx of digital nomads. Yet right now today, Mexico is one of the last remaining doors where ordinary American wages can still buy a life that feels reserved for the rich. Colombia. Colombia, once whispered about in warnings, has transformed into a jewel of affordable luxury. Medellin, once infamous, is now a city where a modest US salary buys penthouse apartments with sweeping mountain views. Trendy cafes line the streets. US-trained doctors work in state-of-the-art clinics for a fraction of American prices, and the nightlife pulses with an energy that makes New York feel sluggish. On less $800 a month, you can hire a maid, eat gourmet meals daily, and still have money left for weekend trips to Cartagena's beaches. The dramatic irony? Locals see these luxuries as untouchable, reserved for elites. Yet for anyone earning in dollars, it becomes normal. But Colombia is changing quickly. Digital nomads are flooding in, pushing costs higher, and governments are already talking about stricter visas. It's a secret that won't stay secret for long. Waiting means risking the chance to live like a millionaire in a city once off limits. If you're realizing that the life you've been told is impossible is actually just one decision away, don't let this moment pass. Hit subscribe right now, because every week I reveal the countries where your paycheck turns into power, and the next one could be your escape plan. Portugal. Portugal has become the quiet obsession of expats who discovered its secret too early. For the cost of a cramped US apartment, you wake up in Lisbon with an ocean breeze pouring through your balcony doors. Cafes line the cobblestone streets, and dinners with fresh seafood and wine cost less than a fast food meal back home. Healthcare is modern, accessible and laughably cheap compared to US bills that bankrupt families. The International Living stated that a visit to an emergency room in a private hospital in Portugal runs around $400 compared to $100 or $200 or more in the US. And the kicker, European residency laws give you access not just to Portugal, but to the entire EU. However, expats have swarmed Lisbon and Porto, driving up rents and sparking protests. Politicians are already under pressure to slam the brakes on foreign visas. Right now, today, Portugal still lets you turn modest wages into a millionaire's routine. Bulgaria doesn't advertise its secrets. That's what makes it dangerous to ignore. Nestled in Eastern Europe, it's one of the last places where a US waiter's wage transforms into untouchable luxury. In Sofia, $2,500 covers a modern downtown apartment, daily dining out and private healthcare. The countryside offers villas with mountain views for the cost of a used car payment back home. And unlike Western Europe, everything here is still raw, unpolished and cheap. Too cheap to stay that way. Digital nomads are starting to sniff it out, and once they flood in, the prices will rise. What Bulgaria offers isn't just affordability, it's entry into the EU with minimal costs, a backdoor to stability most people overlook. But backdoors close quickly when too many find them. Bulgaria is the definition of a ticking clock, a place where an ordinary paycheck buys you freedom today, but tomorrow it may only buy you survival. Nicaragua. Nicaragua is the kind of country whispered about in dark corners of travel. Forms the place where you can rent a beachfront villa for less than the price of your utilities in America. On a waiter's income, you wake up to the sound of waves crashing outside your window, hire staff to maintain your home, and live with a freedom that feels almost unreal. The luxuries that drain bank accounts in the US, organic food, fresh seafood, private healthcare, are casual daily realities here. But Nicaragua's secret isn't safe. Expats are quietly moving in, snapping up property and reshaping entire towns. The danger? Once discovered, the market explodes, and the window to live like royalty on scraps will slam shut. Right now the door is still open, but the sense of urgency is real. This is one of the few places left where modest income equals millionaire status, but only for those bold enough to act now. Guatemala. Guatemala hides its wealth in plain sight. Cities like Antigua, with colonial streets and volcanic backdrops, look like postcards, but the cost of living is shockingly low. For what you'd spend on rent alone in the US, you can secure a 3-bedroom home with a gardener and housekeeper included. Dining out isn't a treat. It's routine. Healthcare is private, modern, and priced at a fraction of American costs. And the cultural richness, markets, festivals, ancient ruins, gives you a lifestyle that feels priceless. Expatistan noted that the cost of living in the United States is about 80% more expensive than in Guatemala. Yet there's a looming tension. Expats are slowly transforming Guatemala's most beautiful cities, and prices are climbing. Locals already talk about being pushed out. Right now you can still live as if wealth has no limits. Hesitating means watching this secret vanish, leaving you trapped back in a system that feeds you bills instead of freedom. Vietnam. Vietnam is where the illusion of cheap travel dies and the reality of millionaire living begins. In Ho Chi Minh City, for under $500 you can rent a fully serviced luxury apartment, gym, pool, housekeeping included. On a modest US salary, you command a lifestyle that locals view as elite. Endless street food feasts, private English-speaking doctors, and the ability to travel across the country at will. Hanoi's old streets echo with history, while Da Nang's beaches rival any Caribbean resort. But the cost barely scratches your wallet. Yet this secret is spreading. Remote workers are pouring in, and rents are already creeping upward. Vietnam still offers one of the purest examples of geoarbitrage, but it won't stay hidden forever. The question is simple. Will you seize it now or wait until what once cost pennies is out of reach? Because in Vietnam the clock is already ticking, and hesitation will mean losing everything. Cambodia. Cambodia is the kind of place people underestimate until they see the numbers. Here, even on a waiter's wage, you can live like royalty. In Phnom Penh, rooftop apartments with skyline views rent for what Americans pay for car insurance. Daily meals cost less than a cup of coffee back home. Data from Living Cost shows that a basic lunch in Phnom Penh averages $4.37, yet tastes like five-star dining. Medical care is accessible and surprisingly modern, while the local markets put abundance within easy reach. But the true secret lies in its tax policies. Expats quietly exploit the near-zero taxation to live free from the crushing burden of Western financial systems. Still, this edge comes with urgency. Development is accelerating, foreign investors are circling, and governments under global pressure could shut the loopholes. Cambodia is a rare outlier where scraps of income flip into complete freedom, but the opportunity is fragile. Once exposed, the privilege disappears. Right now, Cambodia is the final frontier, but frontiers never stay open for long. I booked my last trip to Cancun for half the usual price, and no, I'm not gatekeeping. I used Expedia, and my affiliate link below gets you the same deals. No extra cost, just real savings. Full toolkits free, www.northwisecode.com ebook. I spend hours curating this. Buy me a coffee if you'd like. Which country tempted you most? Comment below. Want to escape legally and live free? Subscribe for exclusive perks. And if these countries shocked you, wait until you see Live Like Royalty. 1,000-month life in the Philippines, your next escape plan.